Hello everyone, in this video we're going to be making a celestial Hypogean priority tier list, and for each hero that we rank, we're going to give them a badge, whether they should be taken to Mythic Plus, Supreme Plus, or even to Paragon, and we're going to be commenting on how important certain heroes being upgraded to Paragon is, and what my overall recommendations are. This tier list is going to be pre-Athalia. We're going to be getting Athalia probably in a week from right now, and things may change. I will comment about Athalia briefly, depending on what type of skills she will have. However, we do not have any information about her right now. Okay, so we're gonna lead it off with the Elijah and Lailah, the twins. So definitely, I think you guys probably saw this coming. The twins are definitely going to be in the S plus tier because they are so dominant in PvE Dream Realm boss content. They are used in the top team for pretty much every single Dream Realm boss, and even in pre-Endless, they were used in the top team for every Dream Realm boss. No other hero sees that much use in Dream Realm as the twins do, and also to get them to their maximum potential to provide more buffs to your stellar bonded allies, you're going to need to take them to Supreme Plus. Now, I'm not going to say that Paragon upgrading the twins is a priority, and I think if you wanted to be completely efficient, you would just leave the twins in Supreme Plus. The reason for that is the twins are really dominant in Dream Realm boss content. There's no question about that. For PvP, they have their issues. They have survival issues, especially with AoE damage, because they're two bodies on the field, and they're both going to be taking damage, causing them in total to take double the amount of damage from AoE sources. And if you don't have like a massive healing at the beginning of the fight, they're easy to kill. So overall, I do not rate the twins as top tier in PvP, and that is why I would say Supreme Plus is all you need to go for, and save your Paragon upgrades for the more important PvP heroes. Okay, coming to Harak. Harak is a hero which definitely, as you guys see right now, is seeing a lot of Dream Realm use, but that is because we're in this window of endless Dream Realm bosses where we don't yet have the Mythic Plus Magic Charms. When we have Mythic Plus Magic Charms, Shakir and Ludovic comps are going to be taking over. Harak probably still will be the dominant choice for Plague Creeper, maybe one or two other bosses, but he's going to be much less relevant than he is right now. But either way, because of his good Dream Realm use in this period, and the fact that he is a very nice PvP hero, in Supreme Arena you can usually come up with a comp that will make him work. Even in regular arena, he is a good snowballing option if you can set up kills for him. So I think Harak is a very good investment for your account, and because he is dominant in PvP, I do consider him a strong PvP hero, and he is also a PvP damage dealer. And the damage dealers for PvP I think are even more important to Paragon upgrade because you're getting that damage boost from the Paragon Ascension. So I would say Harak in the S tier, not as good as S plus tier, definitely not, and he is a hero that can be skipped if you don't have the resources to build him. And also the thing is, as time goes on, these heroes are going to be potentially power crept, so that's another thing to keep in mind. But as of right now, as the current game state, he is an S tier celestial Hypogean in my opinion, and also he deserves a Paragon tier badge because he is a priority to upgrade in Paragon Ascension because he is strong in Supreme Arena specifically. And even in regular arena on offense, he is pretty nice in certain comps. Okay, moving on to Phraesto. So Phraesto is also a hero that I'm sure no one is going to be surprised about the positioning that we have of Phraesto. He is going to be in the S plus tier. For now, I'm going to put him behind the twins. However, both of the heroes in the S plus tier as of right now, which are Phraesto and the twins, these are top tier priorities for your account. If you do not have these two heroes built up to Supreme Plus yet, you need to be dedicating all your resources to getting both these to Supreme Plus. This is the number one priority for your account. Now, in terms of which one to go for first, this is a subject of debate. Because the twins, going for them first, it can help you in pre-endless bosses. However, when you get to the endless stage, if you do not have Phraesto built up well, you're really going to lack in damage dealer options because Phraesto is such a dominant damage dealer for endless Dream Realm. Now, the problem is, in the future, he is likely eventually to be power crept by an even better endless damage dealer. However, and the twins probably not until we get like a better support from Celestial Hypogeans. So Phraesto is right now very dominant. Now, in terms of Paragon Ascension, this is a topic of a bit of debate. Now, the thing with Phraesto for PvP content, in regular arena, early game, or even mid game, he is a great option. However, at the highest level of PvP, what I've noticed is that it's better to just pass on Phraesto and go for some other damage, some other support healer, or some other crowd control rather than having Phraesto in your comp. And so I really feel like Phraesto in the endgame falls off for PvP. And in Supreme Arena, he just doesn't fit very well in a lot of comps. However, he does have his Crimson contract giving energy to, for example, Cryonaia, which is really important in that comp. So I do think, yeah, I will give him the Paragon badge, but just keep in mind what my notes were here. I think you can skip on Paragon upgrading Phraesto if you want to, but he still is going to be fine to upgrade through Paragon. Also, the thing is, as a damage deal for Dream Realm, the Paragon Ascension also gives basic stats to all of these heroes. So when you compare, for example, a Supreme plus Phraesto and a Paragon 4 Phraesto, the Paragon 4 Phraesto has like 11 or 12% attack higher compared to the Supreme plus Phraesto. That is going to increase the damage output. So that is another minor reason to upgrade through Paragon, but again, I do not recommend upgrading Hero to Paragon just for Dream Realm like bonus damage output. That is really inefficient. You would want to try to make use of them in PvP, otherwise it isn't a good option. And I apologize, my voice is not so great, is because I'm sick and recovering from a cold right now, so hopefully it's bearable. Okay, moving on to the next one, we have Reinier. So Reinier is a hero. You guys have seen how dominant he was in pre-Endless Dream Realm of the season, and even in Endless currently, he is really dominating in a lot of different Dream Realm bosses. Thalassa specifically, in a pretty free-to-play friendly comp, he is the best option, allowing you to hit like 8 billion damage higher than the next best team. So Reinier has been so great in Dream Realm, and I'm actually going to put the Reinier in front of the Harak because I think Reinier is more important for you to be building on your account as a new player before you build Harak. Because the other issue is that Harak can be power crept in the future by a better damage deal option. Reinier, he would need a better debuffer to power creep him. But the other thing is, this season Reinier is so strong because of his charms, but the charm quality bonus converting some into true damage. However, historically, Reinier has always had a pretty good charm set. So that is the thing about Reinier. Again, it is a hero that you can potentially pass on, and that is why he's in the S tier. He's not a must-have. The S plus tier are the must-have heroes everyone needs to have built up on their account until some major things change. But for right now, Reinier is in S tier. He's probably the third priority after you build up Phraesto and the twins, and you only need to get him to Mythic Plus. He gets his debuff at Mythic Plus. Upgrading him beyond that is such a minor upgrade. It doesn't really affect anything. Like at Supreme Plus, it just gives him 4% attack bonus to the ally who he's position swapping. It's so minor. You do not need that. And for PvP, do not even worry about it. Like, Reinier is not very strong in PvP, because he is very easy to plan around when you use him on defense, and on offense, he's just not the greatest option. So I would not worry about Reinier for Paragon upgrades. Just give him to Mythic Plus, then you're done. And then you can Paragon upgrade your other key damage dealers for PvP. Okay, moving on to Berial. So Berial is the worst Celestial Hypogean in the game right now. He is not really needed for any AFK stages, pretty much. He's not useful in any Dream Realm boss, and in PvP content, he's just very underwhelming. Even if I had him built up, usually the main factional hero teams are just going to do better than Berial. He has a lot of issues. He doesn't have enough damage output, and he doesn't have much crowd control either. So Berial is not a good hero. He should be a complete skip on pretty much everyone's account, and just saving up those resources for future Celestial Hypogeans or Paragoning your existing ones. So not much more to say about Berial. So moving on to Cryonaia. Now, Cryonaia has very niche use in Dream Realm. There are 1 or 2 Dream Realm bosses where she is in the best team, but if you don't have Cryonaia, the second best team is going to be only like 2 billion damage less. Not a big difference, basically. So because of that, Cryonaia is not actually like a must-needed unit for Dream Realm. Even though she is in the best team for 1 or 2 bosses, it is not by a huge amount. So you can totally get by without her. She's very replaceable. For AFK stages, she's not really seeing that much use. For PvP, she is pretty good. Like, if you have invested into Cryonaia in PvP, then she is going to be strong, especially on an offense option. You can usually break through almost any stall team that an opponent will have if you use Cryonaia, if your Cryonaia is Paragon Ascended enough. So I'm going to put Cryonaia in the A tier. She's an overall solid hero, but she is more PvP focused, very niche in Dream Realm, and honestly not needed for Dream Realm. And for pre-endless Dream Realm bosses, that is one area we haven't really tested enough of yet. However, there was a viewer who shared a lot of replays with me, who also did a lot of testing of Cryonaia in pre-Endless Dream Realm, and Cryonaia just was not a great option. Usually she was not in the best team, and it was like only in one boss that one time she was in somewhat of a best team, but again, it was kind of, it was not a very dominant performance, and so for that reason, I'm going to put her in the A tier. And now, but she is a Paragon priority, because if you're going to build her, you will want a Paragon upgrader so that she can deal more damage, because if you increase her in Paragon, she's going to have a damage boost, which is really important. Even now, after Inspiration Intimidation changes, even the supports and tanks do want to get that Paragon upgrade to give Inspiration Intimidation to your team. However, it still is more important to be upgrading the Paragon Ascension of your damage dealers, because that gives them damage boost, and that damage boost stat is completely wasted on a support and a tank for the most part. Okay, moving on to Dionel. Dionel is a purely PvP hero, hardly any use anywhere else in the game. He is a hyper carry, however, I consider Cryonaia to be a stronger hyper carry compared to him, with more potential into other comps, and even more potential in defense. So, Dionel has issues, and as time goes on, and more Celestial Hypogeans come out, I'm sure Dionel is only going to get weaker and weaker, and more crept. So for right now, Dionel is in the B tier. Not as low as Berial. However, he is not a hero I would really recommend investing in to most people out there. I would say for the most part, you probably do not want to build him, and so I'm not even going to give him the Paragon badge. Of course, if you do build him and you're trying to build an optimal Dionel comp, you will want to Paragon upgrade him, because that's going to increase his potential. However, the thing is, I don't recommend it. I think that Dionel is not a recommended hero, so I'm not going to give him the Paragon badge, because I only want to give that badge to heroes which I really think are priorities for you to build up on your account and get Paragon Ascended, and that will be useful for some time in the near future. Dionel is not really fitting that, so I would stay away from that. Okay, Dunlingr. Now, Dunlingr is really interesting, and this is actually, I'm going to have to talk about this a little bit. So Dunlingr, on my the pay-to-win account that I use, I have used Dunlingr with Cure Lock to block the healing, which you would think that would not be the optimal strat. However, that is the only way I'm able to break through some teams that are so tanky and healing. Like, there's so many people running these twin Ludovic teams that have so much burst healing that you just cannot outburst them, and they're gonna get off the twins ultimate. They have Bonnie and Siren as well, and they have a lot of damage potential, and they're going to destroy your team. So the only way I've managed to defeat that is using Cure Lock Dunlingr. And if I did not have that, there's no way I can beat that team. But it has now allowed me to have like 100% win rate against all Paragon 4 defenses, even using my Paragon 2 Dunlingr. So Dunlingr has a lot of use. I think he's quite future-proof due to these very unique tech option for PvP. And for Supreme Arena, he also is pretty good. Either you can deny the ultimate, or you can deny that burst healing. And that burst healing denial is actually very valuable. It completely counters enemy Ludovics, which right now Ludovic is becoming so strong in the meta. So because of this, I have to rate Dunlingr higher than Dionel. I'm going to put Dunlingr in the A tier, but he's purely a PvP hero. He has no use anywhere else in the game. So do keep that in mind. Now, as for the Paragon Ascension, I don't know whether I want to give him the Paragon badge. I think that he will get his job done at Supreme Plus, and so I wouldn't really hard force him into Paragon upgrades, and so I think I'm going to leave him with the S Plus badge. However, if you really want to min-max your account and you're really trying to compete at the highest levels of PvP, as of right now, Dunlingr is a good candidate for Paragon Ascension, but just not absolutely essential. Okay, now we have Scarlita. Scarlita has fallen off substantially. She's not very good in PvP. Like, usually it's just better to run something other than her. In this season, she has some niche uses because of the fact that with the Wilder faction tiles, you want to have allies off the tile who are not killable, because that is going to prolong the duration of your concealed effect. So Scarlita fits exactly in that combo because she goes up in the air. She cannot be killed. But that is a problem with her. She's up in the air. She's not providing enough to your team. And so, like, usually it's just better to have another hero in place of her to actually support the team and provide something before the 17 or 18 seconds at the beginning of the battle. So for that reason, I'm going to put her in the B tier. However, I'm going to put her before the Dionel because there are some still AFK stage applications of Scarlita. And I think if any other content comes out in the game, AFK stage related or anything like that, Scarlita will have a bit of niche use compared to Dionel. So Scarlita, I would say I would probably recommend building up before Dionel for most people, even now. So, but I would basically the B and C tier heroes, I would say do not even build them. Like, this is like, if you have just plenty of resources, you don't know what to do with them, then you can build these heroes. Otherwise, I would just say you should probably pass on these heroes. Okay, finally we have Talene. So Talene is she has a really weird position. Talene is very dominant in PvP. She's really good in Stralish oriented teams. She has pretty high damage output, and she is really good for spreading Bonnie's debuff at the beginning of the match, because Bonnie will debuff the enemy with decay magic. Talene will use her active cast of her skill, which will deal magical damage into the area with the most grouped up enemies, and that is going to rapidly spread Bonnie's debuff. Also, Talene can take damage from the opponent and unlimited infinite damage, and then she will revive herself, and she can just spam her ultimate. Well, like, I guess not technically infinite damage, she's going to go down after a certain amount of damage is dealt, but basically, she can keep reviving herself, so over the course of the fight, she could potentially take damage, unlimited damage. So I like that. She's a pseudo tank, but also has high damage output, and she is very scary. Like, she has kill potential, there's no question about that. And she's very sticky to the field. In regular arena, Talene is such a good option because of how difficult it is to remove her. Like, almost all the top pay-to-win arena defenses right now with all Paragon 4s, a lot of them are going to be using Talene. So that just shows you how powerful Talene is in PvP. Now, for Dream Realm, she is a decent option for pre-endless Dream Realm bosses. However, she is not, like, overall incredibly dominant, especially now that we have the twins. A lot of comps were using twins and Sinbad in pre-endless bosses. Talene was just not the best option anymore, apart from a couple of bosses, but she does have that niche Dream Realm use, just kind of like Cryonaia does. For endless bosses, Talene really does fall off. She's usually not in the best team, in most of the best teams. However, she can still be using some of the backup team options. So I'm going to put in the A tier. I'm still going to consider her higher priority than Cryonaia, and I'm going to give her the Paragon badge, because I do think she is a priority to upgrade in the Paragon Ascension. And with all of that, we have now fully covered the tier list for Celestial Hypogean priority. I did try to put the heroes in order, but keep in mind, I put the twins before Phraesto. I am not sure which is better to build up first on your account. And you can actually build both of them kind of together, get both of them to Legendary Plus, then take up your Phraesto to Supreme, then take your twins to Supreme Plus. Some sort of strategy like that, I think, can be a good strategy, but I'm not completely sure. I just know that whether you're doing twins or Phraesto, you need to make both of these your first heroes getting to Supreme Plus, and you do not touch any other Celestial Hypogean until both of these heroes at Supreme Plus. You basically cannot go wrong with that advice. And then after that, I would recommend Reinier to Mythic Plus, like you see here, and then you can build Harak after that. If you don't want to build Harak, you can build Talene after that, and then you can follow down this priority list. Now, even if a hero has a Paragon badge, it does not mean take this hero to Paragon at the expense of other heroes. For example, if you got your Phraesto and twins built up, it doesn't mean now you start upgrading your Phraesto to Paragon. No, you first have to get Reinier to Mythic Plus, and honestly, I would even say Harak to Supreme Plus, before you even consider Paragon ascending these Celestial Hypogeans. Basically, all of these heroes from the A to S Plus tier, these are all very usable heroes, and they have unique roles across AFK Journey, which will really serve you by building them up and investing in them. I actually think maybe one of, I think that you should probably be building up most of these Celestial Hypogeans before you begin Paragon Ascending. But I can understand if you just want to build up the S and S Plus heroes, and then you just want to begin Paragon Ascending Phraesto and Harak. Like, let's say you want to skip the A and below because you think they're going to be power crept, they're going to become other future great hero options in the future. However, I really, right now, I'm a fan of Dunlingr for PvP as a tech option. I do think that if you are a big PvP fan, it is a thing to consider whether to invest in him. Of course, only if you have the resources to do so. Do not do this as a light spend or a free-to-play player. This is for like the more pay-to-win players who are buying the Stellar Crystal pop-ups. They have more things to be building up. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Hopefully, it is pretty accurate about the Celestial Hypogean priority. And of course, things could change when Athalia comes out in just a week from right now. But as for Athalia, I think it will be heavily dependent on, will she have Dream Realm applications? If she has no Dream Realm potential, then I probably will not rate her above an A tier. Because the heroes who I have in S and S Plus tier, these are kind of staples for Dream Realm content. And by building up these 4 heroes, you're going to be able to put together the overall top Dream Realm team for pretty much every single boss. And that is why I think these are like the must-have heroes for pretty much everyone's account. Now, Athalia, if she is like a PvP focused hero, I probably will not rate her higher than the A tier. If she has Dream Realm applications, that is when we can consider her to be in the higher tier. So we do not know as of right now. then that is just what I'm expecting. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know if you disagree with the positioning of any of the heroes here, and please explain your reasoning why, because I'm sure that can help other people out there as well. And again, this is my opinion, and this is based on my experience. However, it may not be objectively true, so just keep that in mind as well. I tried my best to come up with what I think is the best advice to players out there. And again, do not get confused by the Paragon badges. This means these are Paragon priorities. However, until at least your S and S plus heroes on this tier list are both to Supreme Plus and Mythic Plus on Reinier, do not begin Paragon sending heroes. It is not a good idea and is not a good trade-off. Much better to build up more heroes onto your account. In my opinion, this is my opinion. So anyway, guys, thank you all for watching. I hope you were able to bear with my voice. I know I am losing it right now, but hopefully it's not so bad. But thank you guys for watching. If you guys are not already subscribed to the YouTube channel, please smash that subscribe button. We're on the road to 20,000 subscribers. And thank you guys all so much for the support. Also, feel free to join my AFK Journey Discord server. There's a link to that in the description of this video. But thank you guys for watching. I'll hopefully see you in the next video. And until then, everyone, peace out for now.